The ground beneath your feet is supposed to be your ally. It is supposed to be the foundation. But in a swamp, a tidal flat, or a riverbank, the earth can turn into a predator. Quicksand and deep mud are not just movie tropes from the 1980s. They are geological traps. They are non-Newtonian fluids that defy the standard laws of physics. The harder you fight, the harder they hold you. It is a liquid vice designed to exhaust your energy reserves until you can no longer move. When you are trapped waist-deep in freezing mud, panic is your enemy. Your instinct screams at you to thrash, to pull, to fight. But every violent movement creates a vacuum seal that locks your legs in place with hundreds of pounds of suction force. If you don't understand the physics of the trap, you are not getting out. Today, I am downloading 10 high-level protocols for escaping the Earth's grip. We are going to cover how to liquefy sand with vibration, how to break the vacuum seal with a stick, and how to engineer a winch out of a rope. You need to stick with me until the very end because technique number 10 is the grand finale. It is called the Tidal tomb. It is the invisible clock that is ticking over your head right now. If you ignore this factor, it doesn't matter how strong you are. The outcome is terminal. Let's get to work. Number 1. The shear thinning vibration. You step into a patch of wet sand. You sink to your knees. You try to yank your leg out instantly. The sand grips you like concrete. The physics of viscosity. Quicksand is a non-Newtonian fluid. That means its viscosity changes under stress. When you apply sudden force like yanking your leg, the water is squeezed out from between. The sand grains, and they lock together. You turn the liquid into a solid. You are essentially pouring cement around your own ankles. The harder you pull, the more solid it becomes. The pro solution: you must reverse the physics. This is called shear thinning. Stop pulling. Instead, slowly vibrate your leg. Shake it back and forth microscopically. This movement reintroduces water between the grains, liquefying the sand around your limb. It reduces the viscosity. Once the sand feels loose and soupy, move your leg slowly. Slow is smooth. Smooth is free. Number 2. The vacuum vent insertion. You are in thick, clay-heavy mud. It's not quicksand, but it's sticky. You try to lift your foot, but it feels like the mud is pulling back. It hurts. The suction physics. This is not just friction, it is suction. When you try to lift your boot, you create a void of vacuum under your sole. Nature abhors a vacuum. The atmospheric pressure pushes down on the mud, and the mud holds your boot. Pulling against this force can actually dislocate your knee or tear your ligaments before the mud lets go. The pro solution: you need to equalize the pressure. Find a sturdy stick, a trekking pole, or even your knife sheath. Push it down into the mud directly alongside your leg. Go all the way down to your ankle. Wiggle it to create a channel. You will hear a sucking sound that is the sound of air rushing down to the bottom of the hole. Once the air hits your boot sole, the vacuum seal breaks instantly, and you can lift your leg out with zero resistance. Number 3. The Stirrup Self-Hoist. You are stuck past your knees. Your hip flexors are burning. You are exhausted. You don't have the strength to lift your heavy, mud-caked legs anymore. The biomechanical failure: your hip muscles are relatively small. They are not designed to deadlift 50 pounds of mud. Repeatedly, they will fail long before your survival instinct does. Once your muscles cramp, you are a statue. The pro solution: transfer the load to your power muscles. Take a rope, a belt, or a piece of webbing, tie a loop in the end. Push this loop down into the mud using a stick until you can hook it under the arch or heel of your stuck boot. Now, grab the other end of the rope with your hands. Pull upward using your back, shoulders, and biceps. You are creating a stirrup. You are mechanically hoisting your own leg out of the trap using your upper body strength. It saves your hips and gets you moving again. It's a mechanical advantage that saves energy, unlike the relentless clock counting down in number 10. Number 4. The platform knee drive. You get one leg free. Instinct tells you to kneel on the mud to pull the other leg out. You kneel down and your knee sinks in. Now, you have 3 points of contact stuck instead of 1. The surface area trap. Your knee has a small surface area. It acts like a spear tip, driving deep into the soft sediment. By trying to get leverage, you have anchored yourself deeper. You are digging your own grave. The pro solution: you need to float on top. Take off your backpack, your jacket, or use a tarp. Throw it onto the mud surface right next to you. Kneel on that. The fabric and the gear disperse your body weight over a massive surface area. It acts like a snowshoe for your knee. This gives you a solid, floating fulcrum. From this stable platform, you can torque your stuck leg free without sinking further. Number 5. The Backstroke Buoyancy. You hit a sinkhole. The ground gives way. You drop to your waist. Panic sets in. You think you are going to go under. The density truth: the human body is less dense than quicksand. Quicksand is water mixed with sand. It is heavy. You are mostly water and air. It is physically impossible for a human to sink all the way to the bottom unless they are weighed down by heavy lead gear. You will float at your waist. The pro solution: stop fighting vertically. Drop back. Lay flat on your back. Spread your arms wide like wings. By increasing your surface area, you stop sinking immediately. You will pop up to the surface like a cork in a bathtub once you are horizontal. Do not try to stand up. Perform a slow, steady backstroke. Scull your hands and drag your legs until you feel solid ground or tree. Roots float your way to safety. This works because you are buoyant. But number 10 involves a fluid that will cover you regardless of how well you float. Number 6, the boot sacrifice protocol. You are stuck. The mud is thick clay. You have tried the vacuum vent, but your boot is caught on a root or rock under the surface. You are trapped by your laces. The attachment liability: modern hiking boots are designed to stay on your feet. In deep mud, this feature becomes a liability. Your foot is the anchor, and the boot is the chain. If you refuse to let go of your gear, you sacrifice the machine. The pro solution: you must make a command decision. If you cannot extract the boot, you extract the foot. Use your free foot or stick to push down hard on the heel of your stuck boot. At the same time, violently pull your leg up while curling your toes. Slip your foot out of the boot. Leave the boot in the mud. Continue the mission barefoot. Boots can be replaced. You cannot. Number 7, the Spanish windlass extraction. You are safe on the bank, but your partner is stuck waist deep. You grab their hands and pull. You feel their shoulder joint pop. The rescue error: pulling on a stuck person's arms is dangerous. The suction force can exceed hundreds of pounds. You can dislocate their shoulders or pull them face first into the mud, trapping their airway. You need torque, not traction. The pro solution: rig a Spanish windlass. Tie a rope to a tree or a solid anchor on the bank. Tie the other end around your partner's chest or waist under the arms. Now, find the middle of the rope. Place a strong stick vertically against the rope. Walk around the stick, twisting the rope into a spiral. As the rope twists, it shortens. This primitive winch generates thousands of pounds of slow, steady pulling force. It breaks the suction smoothly and drags them out without requiring brute strength. Number 8, the Duck-Splay Gait. You have to cross a tidal flat. It looks firm, but it feels spongy. If you walk normally, you will break the crust. The heel strike hazard: when you walk normally, your heel strikes first. This concentrates your entire body weight onto a 2-inch square area. It punches through the dry crust into the soup below. Once the crust breaks, the vacuum forms. The pro solution: change your gait. Turn your toes outward way out like a ballerina or a duck. Walk flat-footed. Do not strike with your heel. By splaying your feet, you maximize the surface area of your boot sole. This keeps your weight distributed and prevents the vacuum seal from forming. You skid over the top of the mud rather than driving into it. This keeps you mobile, which is critical because if you stop moving, the thread in number 10 catches up. Number 9, the Deadman Anchor. You are alone in a massive mudflat. No trees. No rocks. You are stuck. You have a rope, but nothing to tie it to. The anchor paradox: you need leverage to pull yourself out, but the landscape is flat and featureless. You are drifting in a sea of mud. The pro solution: you must build an anchor. Dig a trench in the mud perpendicular to the direction you want to pull. Take your backpack, a sturdy log, or a bundle of clothes. Tie your rope to the center of it. Bury it deep in the trench and pack the mud down hard on top of it. This is a Deadman Anchor. The resistance of the buried object against the wall of mud creates a solid point. Now you can use the rope to pull yourself free or rig a stirrup hoist. Number 10, the Tidal tune clock. This is the grand finale. This is the variable that kills more people than the mud itself. The concept: most mudflats and quicksand areas are found in estuaries or coastal zones. They are tidal. The mud is exposed because the tide is out. The lethal trap: you get stuck at low tide. You think you have time. You struggle for an hour. You are exhausted. Then the tide turns. The water doesn't come in like a wave. It rises from the ground up. It fills the channels first. You are immobilized waist deep in mud. The water rises to your chest, then your neck. You cannot move. The cold water saps your remaining heat and then it covers your airway. It is a slow, unstoppable system shutdown. The pro solution: you must know the tide tables. But if you get stuck, you see the water level rising, you enter an immediate emergency protocol. Forget your gear. Forget your boots. Execute the boot sacrifice instantly. If you cannot get out, use the Deadman Anchor or your pack to create flotation. Do not negotiate with the ocean. If the water reaches your chin while you are stuck, it is game over. The earth is patient, but the tide is not. Respect the terrain and understand the physics of the trap. In the next video, we will dive deeper into desert water procurement. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Stay light and stay safe.